Okay, and here we go.
Oh, that
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello.
Are you live?
Yes, we are.
We are live.
Hello, world.
Hello.
Hello, hang on, let me turn this fucking thing down.
Today we are talking about free school meals. We're talking about bits on the US election, which is happening next week. We're also talking about lockdowns, with Nottingham going into a full tier 3 lockdown. What does that mean? The Marcus Rashford petition. Also, 1,200 doctors have signed a letter demanding Boris Johnson makes free school meals U-turn. And we're also going to touch on space and NASA's Perseverance rover. So, how are you?
I love touching on space, me, Joe.
Well, you can go because NASA, they want to take people out on the Mars or Moon. They want to populate one of the...
Mars is next, Mars is next, Earl. Mars is next. But
Yes.
Mars is, apparently so.
Oh,
But
yeah,
anyway, listen, before we do anything else. Joe, how are you, my brother? Are you good?
I'm good. Just had a nice meal and ready to go.
Oh, well, I'm glad you had a nice meal. What was it, plant-based?
Was it plant-based? It was. It was plant-based, actually. Yeah.
Well, you went to the garden and you cut some grass and put in the plate.
Yes, I
Well-
went to munch on some grass.
Well, do you know what is the thing, Joe? Earl, what the trick you and I are missing, brother, is that if we were plant-based eaters, yeah, we could just a bit peckish, just nibble on a few privet leaves. Have a few weeder beds, net them. You'd never have to buy a bag of crisps ever again. But Joel's there. Anyway, how are you, my brother? Have you been running this week?
Yes, I've been running this week. I had a visit on number 10.
You went to number 10, didn't you, this week?
Yes.
Now, before we do anything else,
Well, I've been speaking with Boris Johnson just to make sure that people of United Kingdom, especially the British people, they will get to have a hard way of traveling to Europe since they will leave in the 1st of January 2021.
yeah, but you can't because you're Eastern European, brother. You can't leave anywhere. You're not leaving
I
anywhere.
can go to Europe because I'm European, but British people will not be able to travel in Europe without a visa. That's why I'm want to convince Boris Johnson. Why you need British people across the Europe since they want their country back, and out of Europe, isn't it?
Isn't it? Now, here's the thing. Now,
Exactly.
you're doing your degree in English, aren't you, at the moment? Now, here's the thing.
Yes, I'm doing my degree.
You don't say such and such a thing, isn't it? You say, could it be?
Cool.
Maybe so.
Correct.
Anyway, listen. Let's first and foremost, let's give our respect to our brother that isn't with us today. Who is?
Chrissy, darling.
There you are indeed, our Chrissy darling. I hope you are well, my good brother. We love you. We think about you all the time. But most importantly, before we move on,
Not as much as you think about Chrissy. I don't.
Is it?
I mean, how
Isn't it?
why should I think about
Isn't it?
Chrissy?
Isn't it?
I don't think so. He thinks about me. Why should I think about him?
Chrissy, we love you. Listen, I'm coming from Moston, North Manchester tonight. Arel's coming from he's coming from West London, and you've got
West.
Northwest London. Well, I'm coming from Northwest Manchester, which is fucking far better, so shut it. And Joel is coming all the way from South London.
Yes.
If you know where he is, that's where the terrorists are.
I don't know. There's a few terrorists around here, but listen, they're everywhere.
Okay.
Right, yeah, but moving on. Before we do anything else, folks, can we ask you a favour? Number one, will you please click share right now? Click share. Arel, Joel, point to the screen. Please click share.
It's over there.
He's over there.
Yeah, if you can click share, please. And also, if you can click share, and if you can also, we've got a YouTube channel. If you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll tell you why, folks. Because is it just Joel, Arel, how many days is it now until we get to the day where we're doing our night-long broadcast?
6 days.
What?
6
weeks?
days.
6 days. In 6 days' time, folks, we're going to be broadcasting live right the way through the night, and I tell you, it's going to be debauched.
Yeah,
we're going to have all
it'll be
three
a
of us.
crazy night to see Trump winning again.
we're going to get Trump, as our producer and brother Joel said, we're going to watch Trump get fired. Get fired.
Yes, get fired.
So if you
let's hope that.
if you can, folks, keep an eye out, right, and join our channel, and we'll let you know when it is we go live on the election night. We're going to be going live.
It will be late,
yes,
but it will be fun.
And it'll be fun, man. Will it be fun? Trust me, you're going to have this dickhead here just getting more and more debauched. It's going to be awful.
Before we moving on, let's shout to your mother. It says,
hello, my mother. How are you? Where are you?
Dave Jing says, evening guys, how the hell are you? Well,
Who says this?
not hell yet, but I'm good. Thank you very much for asking.
Oh, Dave Jinks. Dave Jinks, my brother. Solidarity. I love you, my friend. Always and forever.
Thank you, Ian, for sharing. Thank you. Your sister Claire. I think I have.
I see my family. I
think I just shared it twice, but I'm not sure. I press share and the press.
Just keep sharing.
Also does that. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Oh,
thank you for sharing. Thank you. Hello to my Melanie. I love you, my darling. Can all three of us say hello to Melanie, please?
Hi,
Mel. Hi, Mel.
How you doing, babe? Show us some love, by the way. Show some love. Show us some fucking love. I want to see it now. If you don't see it, I'm not carrying on. Stay quiet, boys.
What's I'm just sharing the feed. What do we have to talk about first?
Well, I'll tell you what we've got to talk about, brother. If you wait there 1 second. We've got all talks. Let's just start with the fucking the free school meals thing, man, because I'm finding this hard to deal with.
Let's stay in this part of the pond for the moment and talk about how you said about
free school meals. So here's the thing, people. Yeah, read it and fucking weep, because this is the truth. Just read it and weep. 1,200 doctors, boys, signed up. They signed a letter this week demanding that Boris Johnson makes a U-turn on this free school meals. The Tories all clapped and cheered when the bill got rejected. Now, keep in mind, I am one of the children that this bill affected. I was a child of a low-income family, and I can assure you, at times, man, things were. My mum used to make biscuits out of flour and water because we had fucking nothing in it. The kids that they voted against this week, this could be the only decent meal they have in the day. Now, keep that in mind. For the sixth richest nation in the world.
We are one of the nations, really rich nation.
One of the richest nations on the planet. These kids, it can be the only meal in the day that they actually have that's actually decent and isn't super noodles from fucking Asda. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. These fuckers, these fucking Tory fuck pigs that they are. Pardon my language, and allegedly, by the way, just so we don't get banned. Allegedly.
Yeah.
The doctors themselves are asking the Tories to make a U-turn on this policy.
Yes, NHS staff have signed a petition saying that to do a U-turn on school meals for the kids. And I mean, this government should look at the fact that these kids, the family that have a low income or their financial situation is not that good, but they depend mostly on these free meal schools that they get to feed their children, especially on this half term, especially during of Christmas, this period that now where the kids will be mostly at home. So the fact that you've done it during all these 3-4 months of lockdown,
it makes it even worse,
because it's going to get even worse. You're going to get another lockdown either you want or not.
You know, the point my brother Errol just made there is perfect. During half term, the kids aren't in school, so chances are in a low-income family, for whatever reason, the parents can't feed them properly. The only meal that they've got, the decent meal that they will have in the daytime, would have been in school. Well, they're not in school, as Errol just pointed out. They'd be at home, which means they're not going to get a fucking meal. Yeah. But anyway,
so Marcus Rashford, for a second, has started this petition short time ago, and there's been just over 1 million people sign it so far. This is on the
Well, it was
gov.uk
actually,
website.
Joel, it was actually it's 1,001,728 signatures, my brother.
And that's rising.
God
very
bless
quickly.
Marcus Rashford. God bless Marcus Rashford. Carry on, Joel. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Carry on.
No, I'm just saying that's rising very quickly. You can see Marcus Rashford on the screen there right now.
Yeah, and also it was 1,200 doctors that have wrote directly to the Prime Minister. Not like idiots like me, not like people who are a bit pissed off, not people who read The Sun or The Mirror or The Daily Mail. Doctors, intelligent, educated men who deal with over like 200 patients a day have written to this ball bag and said, look, man, please, what are you doing?
So that's separate to the petition, but 1,200 doctors have signed a letter collectively to Boris Johnson to make a U-turn on his decision as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of public support. There's a lot of medical professional support as well.
Joe, sorry to interrupt you, but Ian Mitchell says you need to turn up your mic as barely can.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm turning mine up. Thank you.
Hi, Ian, by the way, brother. I hope that you're keeping well, my brother. Much love to you, and thank you for joining us again this week to debate. Please keep the messages coming. While Joel turned his mic up, just on this topic, and listen, we don't want to be boring here. We don't want to keep going. We don't want to go over some of the people, but it's very passionate for us three. This topic, it really, really, really is, because it's another example of extreme arrogance, ignorance, narcissistic fucking ego with the genetic Tory party. This week I did a thing where I said I asked freely, boys, on my Facebook and on all of my social media, I freely asked people and said, look, if you voted Tory, whenever, can you please just get the fuck off my Facebook and social media? Because obviously I've got nothing in common with you anymore. I never did in the first place, but that's how I feel about it.
It's like supporting Trump.
Well, yeah.
But I tell you what, though, before we move on, boys, let's talk about what Marcus Rashford's free school meals campaign. What's it about? Well, I'll tell you what it's about.
Go on, tell us.
It's currently got like 1,001,728 signatures on it. But all he's asking for is that free school meals function until Easter 2021. Now, this is the fucking football. This is a footballer. And the best thing about it is he's not asking for any, he's not doing it with any kind of great thing. He's doing it because it comes from a background like me, like Arel, and like Joel. Backgrounds where it actually means something to us. Mm-hmm. So he's suddenly got 1,001,001 signatures, and he only wants it to go until Easter 2021.
Yeah, so basically kind of like during the coronavirus period.
Exactly, brother, which is going to be the hardest period of all, because you're going to have a lot of families. Let's say you got one of the members of the family that's not got an income, and they. The bottom line is, listen, the Tories an absolute cunt here, and I'm not just saying that from this is an awful moment in time for them they voted against this idea. How much are they going to save me exactly? I've not got the figures. Maybe can you someone out there, please go and Google it and find us how much would the United Kingdom save, right, if they actually stopped giving school meals to children during half-term periods?
Well, not much.
Someone out there
not much at all, because if you consider how much MPs get in subsidies and free meals as well, when they're in Parliament or whenever they're working, they get free meals.
Brother, did you see? Brothers, did either of you see this week? Did you see the someone leaked? The House of Commons menu.
Oh right,
and it's basically wherever you go in there, it's like staying at a Premier Inn. You go downstairs for breakfast and you can eat as much as you like.
Yeah.
Well, it's like one of them. It's a menu, and you can eat whatever you want, and you don't pay a penny for it. These are the MPs, right?
Yeah. Right.
Someone else, if anyone out there can please go and Google it and Google the figure for what the UK will save for children not getting school meal. Then the first person to go to the answer gets a prize, and we'll get to come and join us on Skype during the election broadcast at some point. And the person that can also tell us, put on the message below, I'll send us a picture of what the menu is for the House of Commons for these fucking fat pigs that get paid by us and are refusing children food. If you can show us what was in the press this week, that menu will be very grateful. Joel, over to you.
Well, I can show you. I mean, do I win the prize?
You win the prize, brother. You always win the prize.
So we got some few messages if we want to listen a bit. We have Ed saying that he gets me angry, Tory following footsteps of Margaret Thatcher when school milk snatch tight-fisted bastard.
Exactly. They are walking in Thatcher territory right now in terms of ego and in terms of arrogance. They are walking so far down that road. But what happened to Thatcher? The poll tax, and she got her head chopped off. So let's hope that happens this time around. But anyway, carry on.
You can see. Hold on, sorry. You can see the menu on screen there, and you can see some of the prices. I don't know how low they are comparatively, but this isn't called a members dining. This is in the members dining room. So
members dining room. So all members of Parliament get this menu here. They choose what they want. They don't pay for it, right? They are members of Parliament. These people who get this menu are the ones that are voting against children of very low income backgrounds getting a school meal during their school holidays. Shame on fucking you fuck pigs.
Right.
And sorry. And with Halloween coming up, you know what's scarier than Halloween?
Me on a fucking Sunday morning. I don't know. Go on, carry on.
Well, as you can see from the picture here, 2 kids holding up signs. You know what's scarier than my Halloween mask? That some children will go hungry this Halloween.
Yes.
You know what?
That some children will go hungry this Halloween.
Listen, boys and girls, anyone that follows our page, I don't know, maybe me, Joel and Narelle can get together and maybe, I don't know, we can start a GoFundMe page or something. Just start something that shames these fuckers into realising, where we can possibly donate some money to kids that fucking need it. I don't know. Well, I'm just talking.
On that point, a bit of last minute news that I've just come across is that the Premier League fans raised £300,000 as scheme set to continue. Now this is Premier League fans boycotting pay-per-view games because people like BT Sport and alike are charging about £15 to watch certain games. Now this is probably to make up for the fact that fans aren't in stadiums. But what they're doing is they're boycotting pay-per-view games and have raised more than £300,000 for charity. But the controversial TV scheme is set to continue at least until next month's international break. Now the charity, let me just scroll down here and find out what the charity is. The model is set to... I can't find it right now, but it looks like basically that, instead of paying to watch these matches, they're giving their money to this charity, which is getting behind Marcus Rashford, his petition as well, I guess, and helping kids get meals.
Yeah, brothers, can I ask you a question, man? I mean, it's a question I'm asking you. We already know this. In fact, folks, I'm asking you. I'm asking anyone that's watching this. What the fuck is it when a footballer has to fucking has to prick the social conscience of this nation to because I tell you what, if Marcus Rashford wasn't fronting this campaign, then this bill would have passed without any kind of media coverage whatsoever, and kids would have lost the school meals, and no one would know about it. And when no one knows about it, no one cares about it. It's come to a point where a footballer has had to prick the nation's conscience to the point where this has become like it's got national coverage. It's a disgrace, man.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace. And any of you fucking people out there that voted Tory, right? Now listen, forget your political persuasion. Any of you closet Tory voters out there, I hope this is pricking your conscience in some small way. Because this is a direct action of your fucking decision. Not mine, yours.
I'm sure. I hope it is as well. And just a bit more on that £300,000. It's actually made up from multiple football clubs and their fans. Liverpool fans raised more than £120,000 for North Liverpool Food Bank, for example. Arsenal fans had donated £30,000 to a local cause as well. Newcastle United made more than £60,000. And Manchester United and Manchester City supporters gave £25,000 to local food banks as well.
Which is amazing. But I tell you what, man, look at the figures there in terms of the size of the clubs. Forget the size of the clubs. Listen, it shouldn't be football clubs or fucking people like yourselves and me that are having to fucking... This is a political thing. The money that is needed...
Well, everything's political. You know, if you live a life... You're political because politics govern the way we live.
Of course, but what I mean is, it's like Band-Aid. The point, you can't fucking feed Africa with a few pop stars, and you can't fucking give the entire nation of the UK kids meals from private donations from football clubs. It's a political decision. It has to be made at a political level, a governmental level, because that's where the money is. Mm-hmm. And shame on you.
That's why every single person should vote. Because if you don't vote, then you don't get the person you want in charge.
Exactly. Now, segueing on from this, because otherwise I'll sit here all night fucking rapping about the Tories.
Yeah.
But segueing on in a very superficial... Should we talk about Trump and Biden? Joe,
Go on,
over to you.
Well, shall we start off with the fact that Trump's website was hacked? Round of applause, actually, for whoever hacked
it was me.
Donald Trump's website.
It was me and around.
Well, we don't have that kind of power, especially to hack in the Trump.
You can see a screenshot there of the webpage when it was hacked, and it says this site was seized. The world has had enough of the fake news spreaded daily by President Donald J. Trump, and it's time to allow the world to know the truth.
What Trump has to say about that is on website.
Well, you can imagine what Trump is spewing some kind of bullshit about it. But Trump's communications director said that there was no exposure to sensitive data and that the site has been restored. The website's about page was briefly replaced by the screenshot you can see on screen now. And I've told you what it said. The world has had enough of fake news spreaded by Donald Trump. And it appeared to be an unsophisticated scam aimed at collecting cryptocurrency. There was no clue to the identity of the hackers or hacker. The message spoke of access to Trump and relatives and classified information that Trump.gov is involved in the origin of the coronavirus. It's like interesting. There you go.
What can we say? But before we do anything else, I think what we need to do is, boys, pause on there, because we want to say a few hellos, because if we don't, they're going to think we're being ignorant, aren't they? Dave James Johnson, we said hello. Hey Dave, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Paul Maximus, I hope you're well too. My brother, Tony Power. Well, I'm more, Tony Power says. Now, Tony Power, Joel, after last week, I realised Tony Power's on a wind-up. So, I'm going so Tony, I'm on to you, brother, only because of Joel, right? So, but Tony Power has said, I'm more annoyed that Boris just cannot accept that Marcus Rashford is getting the attention. And that's the sign of a bad Prime Minister. And it's Boris's stubborn attitude that is preventing free meals being given to the kids. Actually, you know what? That isn't him winding me up. That's a fair comment. So anyway, nice one, Tony. Tony, well done you.
Tony, wind him up.
No, don't wind me up, because I'll end up taking up more time and I'll end up talking more. And I hate talking more. Paul Max, Dave James Johnson said, "Love is hard. Tories have tried to make a crime to fall out of love and criminalised being a single mum and punishing the children." Do you know what, Dave James Johnson? When I get into power, when we get into power, brother, you're coming into my cabinet, and that's the way it's going to be. And Ian Mitchell said the government should be paying for this, not the public. I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. So yeah, you were saying. So the site got hacked, Joe. Talk more about it. The site got hacked and it got taken down, didn't it? And it was all about cryptocurrency, wasn't it?
Well, apparently it says here. I don't know whether this is coming from the White House or somewhere else, but they were after cryptocurrency. But I think the main point of it was to get the point across that Donald Trump, every single day, every minute of the day, he spews so much bullshit. And lies through his back teeth about everyone and everything, just to fuel his own agenda and his own psychotic reality TV show that he thinks he's still part of, because he doesn't live in the real world.
Well, the thing is, brother, he doesn't live in the real world because he lives in the reality TV world. He sees himself like John Wayne. Now, bear with me, folks. Arel, Joel.
Yeah.
Bear with me, right? This is a classic scene from fucking Donald Trump's mind. He's about to meet Vladimir Putin, right? And it's like they're about to go to nuclear war. The world's on the brink of fucking nuclear war. We're all gonna die. Donald Trump, in his mind, sees it like two fucking bars. You know, like one of them old Western bars on the doors. He's going to boot them open, right, with a big cowboy hat and two guns stood there like that.
Yeah.
Like John Wayne. And he's going to look at Vladimir Putin and he's going to do a John Wayne. He's going to go, that's how he sees everything. He sees himself like the fucking, like the, you know, the gun-toting sheriff in the town in a country. In a Western movie. He's a complete dickhead. Boom. Boom. He's just a complete nipple. And you know what? If he was a nipple, yeah? If he was a nipple and I was a baby, I wouldn't suck on it. I swear, I'd rather starve to death. Because that's how much of a nipple he actually is. It's awful.
Have you seen the last news about Trump, what he done on one of the rallies?
No, go on, brother.
Well, basically, they apparently, after his, daily rally that he does across the country.
All his rallies, yes, where he gets hundreds of people gathered together with no masks or social distancing, and over 1,000 people a day are dying in the US. Yes, go on.
Yeah. And one of these rallies, after he finished it, and outside being freezing cold, now we are approaching winter, he left with the Air Force One up in the sky and to the DC, Washington. And people that are supposed to, the bus taking them from the airport to their whatever, he just literally failed these people over there, just leave them there. And 30 people, they end up in hospitals, critical, because of the hypothermia, because outside there was a freezing cold, so they'd be waiting over there in the airport.
Hold on, who did they leave?
Trump after left from that airport, Air Force One, supposed to be a bus to take those people the airport.
The people who were there to support him.
Who were there at the
people
rally.
who were waiting to get into the Trump rally,
Yes.
Right, okay.
The rally finished, after the event finished, Trump left. Those people, they were waiting for a bus or whatever transport to take them out from the airport. Mm-hmm. But that bus didn't show up. Okay. Being outside, being freezing cold, they end up to need treatment for hypothermia.
Hypothermia?
Yes, because they were freezing cold, so basically their temperature body went really low.
Wow.
So they ended up in the hospital, including that there were two old people that were critical because having 70 years or whatever the age.
And they weren't able to leave themselves. They had to wait for this bus.
No, they had to wait apparently for a bus that's supposed to take them out.
You know, Trump like I said, Trump doesn't care about anybody but himself.
So now people, they end up in hospital saying that they need treatment for hypothermia. What happened?
I think Lee's having a bit of an issue, but we'll carry on, Arel.
So now a lot of people, they are like, welcome back, Lee. So it's really interesting to show that Trump doesn't even care about those people, to see those people at least safe out from that airport, because outside is freezing cold, and you leave those people there, not even care about what is going to happen. I mean, two people that are critical, the fact that they're having an advanced on their age, and the others, they need treatment for hypothermia because they've been waiting there just to be taken out of the airport or a bus.
It's crazy.
Do you know what that tells me, though, brother? I'm not being funny, yeah? Now, as you all might know, I'm a huge Beatles fan. I have been since I was born. I swear to you now, I know more about Paul McCartney's inside leg measurements than he does, or his Taylor. I just know everything. But I can assure you, what kind of... And I'm a psycho. I want to lick Paul McCartney's face. I mean, what more do you want to know? I've sat outside his offices night after night. For people to sit for a Trump rally is bad enough.
Yeah.
It is.
Absolutely.
Bad enough.
But
to gain hypothermia...
Yeah,
it's getting really, really cold in America right now. But to be out for Trump and then you end up in the hospital and you need treatment because you've been waiting in freezing cold for a bus to show up. So that shows how much Trump cares about people in America.
Well, exactly.
What he cares is that he wants to be again for a second term in that office.
But so there you go, brother. So listen now. Listen, we're going to be doing our broadcast all night long, right? Which I know for a fact that everyone's going to get on, because if they don't, they're stupid. Because it's going to be the best. It's going to be the best.
Just before that, because I'll have a little piece of media to show with that. But I just wondered, because you touched on a minute ago, you said something about Russia and the end of the world. What was it? You was doing a hypothetical, weren't you?
I was doing what with regards to Russia at the end of the world. I was talking about Donald Trump walking into a bar. In his mind, in his warped mind, he sees himself in a Western. He sees himself in a Western film. And every kind of scenario, whether it be with North Korea or whether it be with the NATO alliance, whatever it may be, he walks in there and he thinks that he's John Wayne, and he walks in and he can just see the bars of the doors of the bar swinging open, and he comes in with his hat on and his guns in, and he's going to take them on like that. He's a big fat nipple. That's what he is.
But on a slight segue to that, it's 100 seconds to midnight right now.
Fuck me. Is that the nuclear clock?
Yeah. I will show you it right now. Look, here is a picture of the scientists updating the clock, and it's now 100 seconds to midnight. Now, that's pretty damn close.
But brother, it was 10 minutes to midnight 8 years ago.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got moved. It got moved at the point. Do you remember when Kim Jong-un started talking his rhetoric towards Donald Trump about, the minute they tested those ballistic missiles that could actually reach American soil, then the nuclear clock moved to 2 minutes to midnight. We're now, say that again, Joe, how far away?
100 seconds.
A second.
100. Fuck me, brothers. Am I going to sleep tonight now? For fuck's sake, man. This is...
Wow.
My nephew just gave birth to my great nephew. I'm scared for him. I'm scared for him and his generation. I'm frightened to death, man. I'm frightened to death about the world, to be perfectly honest with you, because, it's fucked up. But if you follow us during the election broadcast, let's hope, boys and girls out there, that when we do the broadcast, you can join us. It's going to be a long night, so we need you to join us.
Claire Griffin says that he wants to know when we do that live broadcast on.
So it'll be Tuesday, November 3rd. Tuesday, November 3rd, and it will be starting at around 1 a.m. between 1 and 2 a.m. Because that's when the election in America is.
It's going to be in the morning, early hours of the morning, poor
Yeah.
Rel, and me and Joel.
No,
me
I
and
have
Joel-
time to sleep until 10, 11.
Yeah, me and Joel.
Shower and got.
Me and Joel are seasoned staying up people, but Orel's not.
Oh my god! So that reminds me, I need to, straight from home, straight from work home, sleep, put Alexa to
Well, I am glad, Orel, brother. You're gonna have to draw on all of. You're gonna have to dig down deep. Dig down deep. In fact,
And there we are.
anyway, because you might see Orel talking like this and just suddenly go like that.
Yeah, but that it was happened even last year when we done the broadcast for the for the UK election.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
It was like, okay, I'm falling asleep.
And that was viewed by hundreds of thousands of people. This one's going to be even bigger and even better.
Well, you can see us on screen there, gearing up for the election next week on Tuesday, the 3rd of November.
Yeah, I'm looking right now at the picture and I'm thinking, oh my God, I look like your fathers. I look like both of yours dads. It's awful. You two look really,
Well,
really,
I look
Yeah.
better than.
and I just look like your dad. And that's the way it's going to be.
This I'm at the White House over there.
I thought you were at 10 Downing Street. The picture I saw today, you were in 10 Downing Street, but now you're at the White House. Did you get about URL? Fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
Your picture is very Lee. Your picture is very West Wing-esque. If
Yes.
anybody ever
Indeed.
watched The West Wing, yours mine's very kind of like I don't know, Rainbow GQ or something.
No, yours isn't at all. Yours is a government advisor all day long, brother.
Is it?
And
And Arel is like
he's the press secretary there. No question about it.
Yes.
yeah, press secretary. Yeah,
He's the guy that comes on and does the.
I mean that White House is in the background and me standing like that. Why not? Shows yes, I'm candidate for the office, for the Oval Office.
but that's next week. What's next in the news, Lee?
Oh, wait 1 second, brother. We got.
Well, we talk about.
Oh no, brothers, please. Can I
What?
go off script for a minute, like Trump? They're always the better ones, aren't they? What's happened
Yeah.
tonight? Joel, Arel, what's happened tonight?
I'm sleeping.
No, what's happened in the past hour?
In the past hour.
France, and
Yes.
is it Germany as well?
Yes. Yes.
Have gone into or going into lockdown, national lockdowns.
Yes, but not just France,
Mhm.
Germany.
Uh-huh.
Announced a lockdown for a whole month. So, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, the coronavirus is coming from Europe.
Well, I mean, all around Europe,
Said.
all around
It's-
Europe and the US, it's spiking again. So I think in America that it's their third wave. Over here, it's our second wave.
Yes, is second wave. Well, I mean, Wales is on lockdown anyway, but until 9 of November. Lee again is frozen.
Yeah, that's right.
So Scotland announced a tier 5.
Tier 5.
Yeah, apparently they have like we have 1, 2,
Is it-
3.
Is it
They
a wedding
have-
cake?
I don't know if it's a wedding cake, but it's more confusing a tier 5 than a tier 3. It's more confusing. So apparently they announced tier 5.
What is like tier 5? Do you have to like sit at home in chains
I don't know what is
with
tier 5
with a bag on your head?
Tier 5 is obviously a scenario. In this country, what happened is the United Kingdom followed Belgium's lead, right? Belgium, they followed Belgium's lead with regards to the way they dealt with the COVID situation, right? They followed the second tier scenario that Belgium did. So that's what we've been following, right?
Yeah.
And it's obviously it failed miserably. As the Armchair Anarchists, we discussed weeks and weeks ago, we said that there's never going to be, unless it's very, very serious, another nationwide lockdown. We said from the word go, it's going to be localized, and that's exactly what has been happening.
Well,
you know, we've had localized lockdowns from, like Manchester's in a localized lockdown, and we've got all different parts of the country in localized lockdowns.
Mhm.
So what we said at that time has come to be truthful. I do believe that if the numbers keep rising, as they are doing, because apparently today the numbers of deaths due to COVID are the highest since May.
Yeah,
Now,
they keep getting higher and higher. Yeah.
Yes.
But the government are waiting and holding out as long as possible before they go into what's called a circuit breaker or fire break.
Don't you love, Joel, Arel, don't you love these words?
Oh, yeah.
Circuit breaker, fire break. Aren't they just great catchwords? What they're basically saying is a 2-week period or a fire break, which is basically another national lockdown. It's all bullshit at the end of the day. The bottom line is... If
you read on here, the circuit break would last for, I think, am I right in saying a month?
Yeah.
A month. Yeah. What's a month going to do?
Well, apparently it's meant to circuit break the virus, okay, to use their words. And given a month's lockdown, it would reduce infection rates dramatically, and then try to kind of, I guess, curb the virus so that it's not spreading as much. And then when you come out of the circuit breaker, then there's not so much virus about, I guess, and then we're closer to a vaccine. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but
no, but they're all keywords. They're all buzzwords. They're all media-friendly buzzwords that can be used to try and.
Here we go. Here we go. I'll tell you some facts here. So, thousands of deaths could be prevented up to January with a circuit breaker, according to scientific advisors to the government. A modelling paper written by Professor Graham Medley and colleagues sets out that deaths could possibly be reduced for the rest of the year from about 19,900 to 12,100. Okay, so that's a pretty big drop. And hospital admissions could be reduced from 132,400 to 66,500. So that's just over half there. A limited lockdown with schools and shops open, but hospitality venues closed could potentially cut deaths to about 15,600. They said. Now, how long would a circuit breaker last? A circuit breaker should last a minimum of 2 weeks, according to Professor Medley, who is a member of the Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies, which is SAGE. He said this is because...
And SAGE is the...
Yeah, SAGE is the government advisory group. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he said it would prevent a whole generation of infection. And prevent it transmitting onwards. Professor Medley said evidence suggests that impact on businesses and on people's mental health is reduced if people know how long restrictions will be in place. And that is that.
Yeah, too many numbers over there.
Well, I mean, according to the scientists, this circuit breaker would reduce infections, reduce deaths, and reduce the pressure on the NHS.
Yeah.
And boys, let's not forget, the whole point of this was that they said, if I'm not mistaken, folks, please correct me if I'm wrong, they said that the whole point of this R rate thing, which is the transfection kind of rate that one person can pass it on to, is that they want to keep it down, because the key thing is they know people are going to die. And they know that this is like, a virus that can't be stopped at this point. So the idea is that the pressure on the NHS is to keep it as low as possible so that it isn't overwhelmed. Am I right? Is that that's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah, it's to keep the R number below 1. If it's above 1, that means the virus is spreading. If it's below 1, that means the virus is not spreading. And so to cut down NHS hospital numbers by over half, which is what the speculation is if we do use this circuit breaker, which I'm guessing would last the entirety of December, if not a bit of November.
Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, we have the Christmas cancelled anyway. But, Well, probably they say that we're going to have a tier 3 on December, just to make sure.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Arel, because tier 3 here, as you can see on the screen, you can see the different tiers there, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. This is for England, and you can see what the different measures are. So tier 1, the rule of 6, 10 p.m. curfews. Tier 2, no households mixing. And tier 3, which is what we're in. Are we in tier 3 now? Is it?
No, we are in tier 2 at the moment.
We're in tier 2, but
you are. I no. So here we go. I'm in North Manchester. I'm in Moston, North Manchester right now. We're in tier 3 Manchester right now.
I know. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So you're in tier 2.
So tier 3 is no mixing indoors or outdoors, and pubs and bars are closed unless they serve significant amounts of food, I do believe. If I read on here, for instance, the whole of Nottinghamshire is to enter tier 3 lockdown on Friday. And that will join areas such as Liverpool City region, Greater Manchester, Lancashire, your South Yorkshire, etc. And it says here that under blanket pre-existing tier 3 measures, bars and pubs in the city will have to close unless they serve substantial meals. Households will also be banned from mixing indoors or in private gardens and beer gardens. So there you go.
Listen, boys, before we carry on, because I swear to God, I want to fucking literally implode just even talking about this. But I want to catch up with a few of the messages that have come through while we've been talking.
Yes, let's do that.
If that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
Going up slightly off topic here, but let's not. Paul Maximus Pritt says, I've been giving pumpkins out today and food parcels to families that are struggling with food.
Oh, good, nice. Who's that?
Yeah, beautiful fucking man, and we love you for it too, my brother. We do, we fucking love you.
Who's that?
Maybe you can help. Maybe you can help us start something. You know,
Maxim, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and boys, listen, folks, boys. Maybe on the Armchair Anarchists, we can start some kind of our own little GoFundMe page where the money that we can possibly raise during our broadcast can be given towards this. I don't know, but let's think about it. If you can help us, folks, please join our Armchair Anarchists page and give us helps, hints and tips, because we feel strongly about it. So Paul Matthews Pritt said that he's been giving out food to people. This is just the start of a bigger problem coming around Manchester and Tameside. That's where I live, where my mum lives in Manchester. Ian Mitchell said the government should be paying for this, not the public. I agree. What's the next one after that, Earl? Dave Jinx Johnson, I think.
Boris will. Dave Jinx Johnson says Boris will catch up and put us into lockdown second week of December, making it illegal. Making it illegal to celebrate major religious holidays, worship the Tory party, he says. And if you're a Mancunian or Liverpudlian, Christmas is cancelled. And that's from David Jinx Johnson.
Yes.
Can I say a big hello to Claire? Hello, sweetheart. I love you. Claire said, my sister is a key worker. She works for the emergency services. She's a supervisor there, so she knows a lot more than, say, any of us do, in terms of the actual logistics of what's going on. Yeah. And, she says that, she's got friends who are positive, got through it, but said it was brutal. They'd not wish it on the worst nightmare. Ian Mitchell saying, that's why I asked about the rule of 6 over Christmas. This is a good point. Do you honestly think that people of the United Kingdom will follow the rule of 6 at Christmas? Well, that's a really good point. Do you think they will?
No.
And one interesting thing is that Met Police said that they will, if people, they will brag on the others, like the neighbors, is going to call police saying that they have more than 6 people in the house. They might say they're going to break the front door just to see if that is happening.
Wow.
It's not going to open the door. Apparently, they want to use the force just to break in someone's house to check if they have more than 6 people, as the neighbor said. And I'm thinking, so what is the constitutional right of having that door closed and to knock other and to wait that person that is the sole owner of that property that you're breaching? That doesn't violate personally the rights of that person that is the owner of that house. I mean, if you're going to break that door, who's going to pay? Boris Johnson or Metropolitan Police?
But at the moment that it's a government-sponsored scenario where people can break down your front door if they think you've got more than 6 people in there, then I'm afraid at that point you are you're
Yes.
I think we lost Lee there. Again.
at that point.
Oh no, he's back. He's back. Oh no, he's gone.
No, yeah. So yeah, it's really bad what government wants to do. I mean, how you gonna literally break in someone on Christmas the door just to see if it's got more than 6 people? How the neighbor says. I mean, people they want to.
Oh,
Hello.
now I'm losing Aurel as well.
I'm
oh no, Lee's back. Lee's back, but Aurel's gone.
There you go. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Listen, the point that listen, I apologise. This is my fault. I keep getting.
It's all right.
The moment that the government's sponsoring a legal action where your door can be kicked in, right, for having more than 6 people in your house, then you're getting very close to martial law. You're getting very close to a dictatorship. You're getting very, very close to a point where all of your rights that you acknowledge are being taken away, and that is something that's scary to me personally.
It is,
and it's you know, people are getting tired of the coronavirus. You know, people's attention spans are very short, as we know. And people don't, and a lot of people didn't want to adhere to the rules to begin with, and that didn't help the situation. And I think less and less people are wanting to adhere to these rules and restrictions because it's affecting their lives. But the thing is, this is you have to draw a fine line between the virus and social living. Let's say, you know, it is a deadly virus. If you've got an elderly or vulnerable person in your family, then and you don't adhere to the rules, you're putting them at risk, and they could die. So if you want to go to their funeral, please carry on. But it's the way the government has managed the entire situation. I think that is what's making people annoyed, and that's why people are getting tired of it.
But that is why people are completely apathetic towards it now. Because because the reason people are becoming apathetic towards it is because the messaging has been so fucking almost daily, weekly. Yeah, it's changed from one moment to the next. It's been reactionary, as opposed to being, you know, this is what we should do. They've reacted to what the public opinion has been, and that takes a long time for them. The point being is that the messaging by this government has been beyond fucked. It has been appalling. It has been disgraceful. This is not a leadership of any kind. Leadership is a scenario where you lead people. You don't follow what they're thinking afterwards and then react to it. You lead them. And this government has shown themselves to be completely not up to it. It's just like you said then, Joe. You said, rightly so, because I can place this in my own context for my personal situation. I'm in Manchester right now because I haven't seen my family for a long time. But most importantly, my nana has been seriously ill, and I had to come and see her, right? Because, you know, things are not good. So on that basis, I came to Manchester, I got a test, and I came straight here, just so I could see my nana. Now, on that basis, there's no way I'm going to place her health at risk, just like you said, Joe. Yeah. And that's the fine balance. The fine balance is as to how much risk you want to place on a family member, but also the point where everyone's just like at this point where they got on a bus, they don't know what to do. They get on, they meet people on the street and it's a friend and they don't know what to do. No one knows what to fucking do anymore because. Well,
if you travel on any public transport or go into any indoor scenario, wear a mask, sanitize your hands on entry and exit. Simple. That's the rules. You know, keep a safe distance from people if you can. You know, those are the 3 basic rules.
Like the same what happened now recently when a key worker who works in NHS pointed out to 3 complete idiots in underground that they don't wear masks, and those 2 there were 2 male and 1 female, and beat the crap out of that person because he pointed out that they don't have a mask in underground. It kicked him out from the train after he got an eye really arranged. The jawline is being broken, and being kicked out on the platform.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting. I mean, it really pisses me off.
They don't have a mask.
Yeah. So the person who pointed out that the other person who didn't have a mask, right, the person without the mask, attacked the person who was saying, "Why don't you have a mask?" or "Please put a mask on."
Exactly. Yeah. Those men attack the person because
and that really annoys me every time I'm on a bus or a tube, or train, and so the majority of people are wearing masks, but then you get the odd dickhead who will walk on maskless, and you just think, what are you doing? And these are like, young, healthy people, no visible disabilities, even though some disabilities are invisible. I know that and I understand that. But, I mean, it's really annoying why people just don't wear. It's such a simple thing to do. It's beyond me.
But the thing is, man, it's beyond me too. I'll tell you. So you're in London. I'm in Manchester right now. I'm in North Manchester, Moston, by the way, folks. Just so you know, all these out there. But I went on a bus today, and the bus driver wouldn't let me on the bus without a mask. God bless her. Good. Right now, because her health's at risk.
Yeah.
And so I had it in my pocket. I put the mask on. In Manchester, they seem to be. Here's the weird thing. I live in London, but all my family, I've lived in Manchester all of my life. They in Manchester seem to be taking this on a far more serious scale than a lot of people in London are. And London's a more densely populated capital. I don't get it, but they are taking it very, 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 very seriously here. Because Manchester's now on a lockdown. You see people everywhere wearing masks, and you see everyone taking it a bit more seriously. But here's the thing: this is the fucking part of the country that is being completely neglected by the capital, London. And not just last week's broadcast, we were talking about what happened with regards to funding for Manchester City Council, but also in the way that they're treating in the North. It appears to me that what happens in the capital of the United Kingdom seems to be the focal point of Boris and his nipple cabinet. And that seems to be the only thing that they care about.
London has always been the first point of interest to the Tory government.
Yeah, the Northerners, the Mancunians, the Liverpudlians, the people from Newcastle, the people from Leeds, Yorkshire, you name it. All the places that are now placed in lockdown by this government are the ones that are taking it far more seriously than a lot of people down south. And that's the truth of the matter. And yet they're the ones that are being treated the poorest by this fucked up government led by this fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But anyway, should we get back to a few messages here, boys, before I start on a fucking rant, $10 rant. We've got Ian Mitchell saying we should call the circuit breaker now so that we can all celebrate Christmas with our loved ones and are not limited to 6. A good point.
Yeah.
David Jinx Johnson said, I found it interesting. There's 11 different vaccines.
Yeah, because Tony Powers said the interesting thing about the virus is that it looks like it will now be necessary for people to have a vaccine every year, just like in the case of a flu vaccine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the interesting point that somebody said, was it Ian who said that he finds it interesting that there's 11 vaccines? Was it Ian who said that?
No, Dave.
Dave Jinx Johnson. Right, okay. So, many companies are trying to produce a vaccine. That's true. And it's just a waiting game to see who comes up first and who comes up with the best one.
Boys, can we claim a fucking a potential first here?
Yeah.
Did we or did we not state months ago that the ambassador to the UK from the United States is none other than
Johnson?
Me.
A Johnson brother. A Johnson as in the Johnson and Johnson brothers. You know the guy that makes the baby talk and the earbuds and one of the big pharmaceuticals? Well, he's the ambassador to the United Kingdom for America. Well,
I was looking for that one.
I don't know if anyone watched the 60 Minutes interview with Donald Trump this week. I'm sure you did.
Oh my God! Yeah, I almost forgot about
It was an absolute car crash when he walked off.
That was insane. So if nobody else saw that, just YouTube it. Just YouTube Donald Trump 60 Minutes, and you'll see that he was getting some hard questions from the interviewer, and he couldn't take it.
What did he do?
And he just got up and walked out.
He walked off.
I mean, what kind of leader is that? We all know he's a dickhead anyway, but what kind of leader just can't take a couple of hard questions because the answer, he can't give a straight answer because it would go against his rhetoric, and he gets up and walks out. What a weak-ass pussy.
It's like the spoiled kid that is being told, no, you can't have that new iPhone. And they go, I want the iPhone. And you go, you can't have the iPhone.
You have that iPhone.
But I want the iPhone.
I want that.
And then we end up just storming out the room and slamming the door and going upstairs. That's exactly what Donald Trump did. But the key thing to take from that interview that I found was that all three of us have spoke about on many of the past broadcasts. We've said quite clearly that with regards to vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson pharmaceutical company, which is one of the big 5 pharmaceutical companies in the world, right, are going to be the ones that the American government pay the most to create this vaccine and to then distribute it and pay for it. What was the first name that came out of his fucking mouth during that 60-minute interview?
Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson. The first one that came out of his mouth was Johnson & Johnson. It doesn't take Columbo to work this one out, does it, Paul? It really, really doesn't. It's very, very straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if you take the vaccine,
that has got frozen.
Lee's frozen face there.
Yes.
But I mean, that's all interesting. We've talked about it so much over the past few weeks and months that I think people get the point. And I'd like to move on just before the end of the show to the NASA news.
Nice one.
And the NASA news, which is NASA news. We're moving on to now. NASA news. NASA's Perseverance rover is now halfway to Mars. Now, I've got a picture here of the Mars rover. Here it is, flying through space. Now, this rover, this spacecraft has covered half the distance it will go to Mars and will arrive in February. At the moment, it takes 2 minutes and 22 seconds for transmissions from Earth to reach the spacecraft. But by the time it reaches Mars, those same transmissions will take 11.5 minutes. Perseverance will touch down in an ancient river delta. And I can show you that as well now. I'll just bring this up here. There's the landing site. It looks quite colourful, doesn't it? Let me just go back here. We'll touch down in an ancient river delta, and it's a former lake. So this place used to be a lake on the Martian surface, and it's we've called it Jezero or something like that, crater. The deposits in the crater are rich in clay minerals, which form in the presence of water, meaning life may have once existed there. And such sediments on Earth have been known to store microscopic fossils. While the remnants might be difficult to analyse on the planet itself, after drilling into the best rocks, the rover will cache about half a kilogram of rock samples in dozens of titanium tubes that will be collected by another rover in approximately a decade's time. Wow, okay, a decade's time until these are collected. So that's basically what it's doing and how it's getting on. They use the orbital path.
But amazing. So for years and years and years and years, you and I, Joe, have been fascinated, haven't we, by fucking, space travel, rockets, the planets, you name it. I'm obsessed by it, and I always have been. But it's fascinating because if you look at any kind of written stuff, any kind of documents on Mars, up until at least 1992, it was just known to be as a thinly atmosphered planet with no potential for life at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
And now, as we move into the 90s and the 2000s, we're finding more and more information that says not only has it got ice, which means it potentially contains water, it also has the potential for life form. Since NASA...
Are you going to the moon? Or where are you going, Joe?
Say again, Rael?
Yeah.
The planet?
I'll be going to Mars in 10 years. All right.
In 10 years, not tomorrow.
Well,
unfortunately not.
The point is that Mars is being shown more and more and more as each year goes by.
Yeah.
And as technology gets better and as more probes are landing on there and moving around, that they're finding that there actually is huge potential for there to be life on Mars. And also
populate.
No, but if you think about it this way, let's say someone dropped a probe on the planet Earth. Well, the planet Earth is virtually 3/4 water. So chances are it's going to land in the ocean. So you're not going to find anything there. And if they're looking for of course they would. They'd find, but they wouldn't be looking. They wouldn't find human beings talking and walking. They'd find fish. But so the chances of the probe even landing on a piece of land is minimal to start with. But
on this planet,
on this planet. So if you imagine Mars, we've only had
we've only surveyed a certain percentage of Mars. Yeah, I mean we've had satellites do planetary surveys, but in terms of probes going down and actually sampling soils and minerals and fossils and things, it's only a portion of it. But to actually survey the planet a bit further, when this rover lands, it's actually carrying a drone helicopter, which you can see on the screen there, and it will detach and fly around the area where the rover lands. So this will extend the reach of discovery on Mars.
Yeah, it looks like a desert over there where you have that sky just like getting out light.
Mars is basically a massive desert,
Yeah, so I think it might be able to be populated.
They have Mars has ice caps, polar ice caps. I think it's on the north and south, which are underneath the surface.
Okay.
And there's all these old riverbeds and lake beds, and that's what they're exploring. That's where they're landing, and that's what they're sampling to try and identify these microscopic organisms.
If it's old riverbeds, that clearly that it means there was rivers there once.
Yeah. No, there is. There was, because Mars used to be a bit like Earth billions of years ago. It used to have a nice atmosphere. It used to have huge amounts of water, maybe an ocean, I'm not sure. But it used to be a lot like Earth. And then, because it was closer to the sun, the atmosphere got stripped away, and then everything just evaporated.
No, Mars is closer. No, Mars is further away. It's
further away. Oh, well, then there must be another reason then. But I do know
that is the reason. No, that is the reason, Joe. It's because Mars. Sorry, but folks.
Oh, because it's So I got that reversed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it used to be like Earth. So that's why there's all these kind of old riverbeds and lake beds.
Yeah. Well, in the future, we're going to see the rockets going.
Oh, talking about rocket launches, SpaceX, right, to date, have just launched they just finished launching 100 rockets into space. And I think they just launched another 2 the other day. But they've launched 100 now since they started, which was, a year or 2 ago?
Which is fucking amazing. It's a private company. It's a private company. And not only is it a private company, it's a private company that has basically... Imagine all the billions that were poured into NASA, before the recent era. Billions and billions and billions. But they could never find a way, or they couldn't be asked to find a way, to reuse a rocket. SpaceX did the Superman thing. They created a rocket that not only went up, it came down and then fired rockets and landed gently again, wherever they fucking wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Saved themselves billions. You've got to give him his due. You know what I mean?
We should, I think, 1 week after the election, we should do a a technology space special where we go through all the... Because there's so much happening in space right now. There's so many different companies launching rockets. It's not just SpaceX. There's at least a handful of others as well doing it. And there's all these satellites and probes flying around out there which are doing many different spectacular things. So we should look at that.
No, to not carry the COVID out of the planet.
Yeah, we'll try not carry COVID to another world, yeah.
There you go. Let's pass some on, fuck it. Let's not pass the Beatles on. Let's pass COVID, fuck it. Come
Yeah,
on.
exactly. Let's give it to other planets.
Let's wipe out another species as well as our own. Come on. Listen, boys, before we do go, can we catch up on a few of our friends here who are talking to us?
Yeah.
Claire says we're in Tier 3 in Manchester. The Wirral on Merseyside, which is another one of our northern brothers, they're on level 3. And Dave Jinx Johnson, by the way, has said his heart goes out to Claire Griffiths.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for doing a great job. Thank you for doing a great job, even though she's my sister. But thank you to all the key workers that are doing a great job. I will end up working twice as hard during the winter. So our heart and our love goes out to you. Thank you so much. Paul Maximus Pritt says Germany's going into a 4-week lockdown from the
exactly what I said. Is going also in a 1-month lockdown, national lockdown.
Sorry, buddy. Did you already say that? I apologise.
Yes, Germany.
I'm sorry about that. Ian Mitchell says to reinforce the law that they have to put the troops. That they would have to put the troops on the streets, and you think the pub will stand by and watch that? Brother, putting troops on the streets, brother, that is going to be martial law, and that's going to be whatever the side of the fence that you sit on here. It's either going to be the total sort of, you're going to get all the people screaming conspiracy and screaming, this is it, look, we're in complete control. Or you're going to get the other side of the fence who are screaming, this is what we need. People need to stop having parties in the gardens and blah, blah, blah. So where do you find the balance, folks? Do you know what I mean? Give us messages, tell us what you think.
Well, people do need to stop having, going to raves and parties and things, because it's not helping the situation. You're spreading the virus.
Well, coming from someone whose livelihood is based on large gatherings, because I'm a musician and I play gigs with lots of people gathered. Listen, I've accepted. But
it just needs to happen until it's safe not to do so, which is not that long away now, not that far away.
Well, brother, I hope and pray, because all of my tour dates are rebooked for next year, but I don't know they're going to happen, and nobody else does. You don't know what's going to happen. Arel doesn't know what's going to happen, and I'm sure a lot of you out there too who are watching, I've not got a fucking clue what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? We're all in the same boat, aren't we? Even, Andrew Mark Kelly said, "Evening, boys." So say hello back, boys.
No.
Dave Jinx Johnson has said they'll hold back on the vaccine rollout till January, so the Tory party will look good when they lead us into a no-deal Brexit, another cover-up. Yes, my brother. Now, there we go. Now, listen, because we're getting short on time, we can't go into this, but trust me, I'd love to. I would love to. The fucking whole Brexit thing has been completely and utterly smothered by the thick, black, acrid smoke of coronavirus. So we're not seeing anything at the moment, but we'll come back to it, won't we, boys?
Yeah.
Our Claire has said, I've got to wear a mask for 12 hours when she's in work. Imagine that, boys. Imagine having to wear a mask. Really bad. Awful, awful, awful. She can barely breathe. Hello, Helen. Thank you for watching us. Please share the page. Paul Maximus Pritt has said, I believe that cats can carry COVID-19 but can't pass to humans.
Not really. No, I don't think so. Animals can actually pass it.
Cats, well, I hope not, because Mum's got 4 of them, so he's open, boys.
Cats. She's got cats.
Claire said that I'm not looking too good. I think it's probably when that froze, but I don't look too good anyway, sis. This is unfortunately the face that looks like...
No, because you frozen beforehand, so...
Yeah, that's what it was.
Like a really bad face.
Tony Power has said, it looked like Donald Trump's insides after swallowing that bleach. He did this week, didn't he, brother? He most certainly did. There's no two question about that. David Jinx Johnson has said, let's get past the space between Trump's ears first.
Yes.
We'll talk about that, maybe, Joe. What do you reckon? That could be a whole night in itself. Yeah. Ian Mitchell said, thanks, lads. Stay safe. and stay safe, stay well. Well, from all of us, three of us.
Well, hold on one
you
second.
too.
So let's not forget, join us next week, and it won't be Wednesday. It will be
Wednesday.
Tuesday. It will be Tuesday night,
Tuesday
late on
night.
Tuesday night. If you are interested in the US election and what's going to be happening on election night, join us for a bit of fun coverage, and we'll take you through it.
It will be fun. There's no question about that. It'll be fun, but it'll also be informative, and we'll also keep you updated with all just as and when it happens, because we want to share this historic night with you, and let's share it together. Because then next year on our memories, it'll all come up. So don't forget, folks, on Tuesday night, early hours of the morning. Don't go watching Sky News. Don't go watching BBC News 24. Come and watch the Armchair Anarchists and share it with us. But in the meantime, we love you.
We love you. Take care.
Well, Joe, and everyone that's watched us, thank you so much. We love you from our hearts.
Bye.
And we'll see you next week.